Hey there, I'm Michael and I'm one of the co-founders of Vidico. And this is a quick overview on what to expect within our ROI of video marketing study. So the study itself is underpinned by a survey that we did earlier this year called the State of Video Marketing Report. And there was essentially an interview we did of 200 tech and e-commerce marketing minds, some were our clients, to understand how they're using video, how they're allocating budgets, and how does video remain a key driver of ROI across their marketing mix. So those were the three main areas that we set out to try and understand. And we went deeper than that. So we looked at the different statistics coming out of Wistia's reports, Hubspot's as well, relating to video marketing, of course, and also looking at YouTube data. So what is Think with Google saying? What are some of their case studies putting forward in terms of the video trends for 2023? So that's what you can expect out of this report. There's a quick overview here on video's comparison to different media formats, some really interesting data on how video is really leading the charge even across images. Our take on that is as follows. So when a client comes to us and they want still image assets, it's actually taken from a video first approach. So they work backwards from video. Why? Because in a 60-second video, there may be room for 40 still image assets. So you can actually get both media types out of proceeding with a video project, if that makes sense. It's harder with the other way around. You can't necessarily do an image shoot and come out with a video unless it's a motion graphics approach. Like there are some styles which facilitate it, but generally it's video first and they actually extrapolate images out of that. The second insight is around video's lift for landing page performance. So this was an example that we did for one of our clients, Happily, where you can simply watch the explainer like right as you land on the landing page, which is really there to assist that conversion for any visitors on page. And you can also see how squarers use them as well. So it's really good for more of the mid-funnel explainer type, whether that is an e-commerce product or whether you are selling SaaS. And there's a lot of really good metrics here that we've got as well, just backing how impactful these videos can be on the landing pages. So really simple use case, typically are those 15 to 30 second bites where you can view the videos elsewhere in social as well, but it's so powerful to just have them somewhere on the landing page. We also recently did this for a large Australian accounting company called Reckon, where you go to all of their product pages and we very tactically put a product explainer for each of those features or use cases there to really help the viewer understand what it is that they're signing up for. The next insight is where video is actually being used by marketers from an investment perspective. So looking at this, you can see that HubSpot and Wistia, they surveyed 1,500 marketers on the top 6 media formats that they plan to invest in most this year. So this is to do with budget allocation. And you just look at how far video is beyond podcast audio content. We roughly see a similar mapping to how clients are reporting their own spend with us. It's more so compared to videos and images in the case of Vidico. We're not frequently comparing videos and podcasts like HubSpot or Wistia would have done, but just very interesting to see video leading the pack there. There is a higher production cost associated with video when compared with some of these other mediums, which is also pushing it forward. It may not be the case that they're going to be doing a larger quantity of video compared to something that scales like podcasts or like blog posts, for example. But certainly in terms of budget allocation, it's still quite a large part of the mix. There's also some really good call outs that we've read here from Omnicom as well as Accenture Song that we really recommend you reading as well. There's also some more statistics here on the percentage of marketing budgets that's spent on video. So I'll let you read through that, but quite interesting just in terms of the proportion of budget overall. There's also, diving into the figures, the average monthly investment in video production. So it just goes to show what the average spend is per month across all of our clients. And we have a pretty big mix in terms of Vidico specifically. We're mainly around SMB, heading up to mid-market. I'd say 10% of the portfolio is enterprise, probably 70%, is SMB to going up to mid-market. So really interesting split there, but that's essentially what you're looking at. And we have around 450 clients in our portfolio. That's where we really look at that spend. In terms of the problems that video marketing solves as well, this is some really interesting data that came out of our clients in terms of why they're using video in the first place. What's the problem they're actually trying to solve? Interestingly enough, and you'd think it's always to solve a sales problem, brand awareness comes up a ton, actually more than sales. That's also third to innovative content as well, so thought leadership. There's also product experience in the mix, so more of those product explainers. There's customer acquisition and engagement, so more of the mid-funnel as well. Social engagement and advertising. I know there's definitely agencies which are all in on that. It's a component of what we do, but it's just interesting to note that when you're having a marketing leader, say a CMO or head of marketing that comes to us, this tends to be where the actual problem solving lands, right? This tends to be where the actual problem that they're stating tends to be in the numbers. In terms of how companies are using video across departments, really interesting because last year this looked very, very different. But this year, product has been number one. So we have seen a lot of clients focus less on top of funnel in 2023. And we've done a ton of work around product launches, mid-funnel content on features, similar to the landing page videos I showed you before. That has definitely been number one for Vidico, far and away. Content marketing is another, so more of that B2B engagement content. Social media, still a very important part of the mix, even if there is going to be a video project which is primarily intended for a product launch, it's always going to have supporting assets for social media, so it always ends up in the mix. Brand is really big as well. Paid advertising is not as big for us this year as it was in 2022. We expect that to return heading into 2024 and probably take third to second place. That tends to be where it is. And beyond the sales use case, HR as well. So creating video content around employee value proposition, what the culture looks like, what is the spirit of the office, what do the employees feel like in the way that their tone is. So that's a really interesting use case of video as well. There's a case study here that we actually did for Movember. So I won't go through all the metrics, super compelling though. It's called Mo Like a Pro. And the real bullet points here is we produced 6 videos. They were later divided across 70 different creative assets. So this is going back to the theme that I was discussing earlier, that if you really have, and this was generated by, I think, 1 or 2 days on set, if you have that sense of strategy at the beginning, there's a ton of stills collateral, design collateral that you can actually pull out of the project effort. So think of video as that first stepping stone, as a means to actually pull other asset types out of it. Radio or voiceover assets is another way to look at it in terms of where our clients want to take each production. In summary, and please spend more time with all these points, I've moved through it quite quickly, but we believe the use of video is going to grow significantly in 2023 and beyond. It's what we're seeing. Wistia is reporting the same thing, HubSpot, TikTok as well. The following tailwinds for us, though, the 3 most important ones are these that we'll leave you with for the research. The first one is that most marketers say that video has the highest ROI of all the current media formats. So the spend is going to tend to be concentrated in that area. The second is that 88% of marketers leverage video in their marketing strategy to boost results. That's a lot. So it's not like it was, okay, we're trialing out this media strategy, this is emerging, give or take 40 to 50%, half the market's doing this. It's like, no, you look over your shoulder at a marketing convention, it's going to be 8 to 9 out of 10 marketers that you walk past that are actually using video in some way. 41% of companies are willing to spend 26 to 50% of their marketing budget on video. So as said, it may not be as frequent a spend but it's going to be concentrated just because there's so much richness in assets that you can get out of each project opportunity. So that's something that was shown in that previous slide with Movember that is worth thinking about when you're actually planning out, say, a quarterly marketing strategy. If you have X amount of campaigns a year, how far can you actually get the assets to go, right? If you've got 4 different big creative ideas throughout the year, and there are these concentrated periods of production, done by an agency like us, or like the current agency you're using, have a talk with them on how far you can actually push this, right? How far can you go in terms of creation of stills, design assets, audio assets out of that video effort? You'd be surprised. There's typically a lot there and a lot of opportunity. So I'll leave you with that. Thank you so much for listening. If there's any questions, please reach out to us. Both our strategy and accounts team are really up to date with all the latest that's happening in video. So thank you for listening, and we'll hope to work with you soon. Thanks.